Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you and for showing up to this groundbreaking for what we call the Alamo Drain Outfall Project, which is part of our bond issue coming forward. I'd like to thank all of the elected officials that are here. I'd like to thank Anna Saenz from Senator Cornyn's office for attending this meeting. The mayors, our elected officials, again, thank you for being here. I'd like to give you a little history of the district. About 40 years ago, this same week, we got devastated by Hurricane Beulah. It was an eye-opening experience for our valley that was mostly rural, in which created tremendous damage in this area. 40 years ago, the valley, as I mentioned, was a rural community. Our leadership at that time went forward trying to make needed improvements for our drainage district. They created the district about 7 years later, floated the first bond issue knowing that we needed to make improvements for our community based on the elements that occurred here. That improvement created the first master drainage system that took in about $75 million worth of work. It took us about 25 years to complete those improvements. Now we're at a changing point in our community. We have now gone from a rural community to a major urbanized community, one of the fastest growing communities in this nation. We're no longer providing just vegetables and agricultural use for the country. We're providing industrial products that have a tremendous impact on the continuing growth of this nation. We've gone from 100 and some odd thousand population to close to 1 million improvements. And along with those infrastructure improvements that are needed comes leadership that we need to have that needs to come in with the support of the community. It was very obvious that the community supported the needed improvements based on our growth. Our elected officials went forward and presented to the community another bond issue of $100 million. Those $100 million were approved, and this project is the beginning of the expenditures of those $100 million and provide needed drainage improvements. The drainage improvements are not just for the local area. They provide infrastructure needed for highway improvements. They provide infrastructure improvements needed to make sure that insurance rating, that development continues. It provides a major injection of capital into the area, into the growth, into the contract, into the people that work for these contractors. But to make those things happen, we need to have very good leadership from our community. And with that leadership comes responsibility, and it comes also with the support of the community that we have here. Based on that, I would like to introduce our elected official, our judge of Hidalgo County, to speak a little bit more into detail on that.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. I don't know if this thing turns on or not. There it is. Godfrey, thank you. I don't think we need this, but it's good to be in the city of Alamo. Mayor Villarreal, thanks for having us here. But just a big picture of the $100 million. The $100 million bond issue that taxpayers like you all passed last November takes care of both localized flooding and overtopping flooding. Overtopping flooding is like the levees that we're going to have just down the river, for example, from Ansalduas to this local area. So it's important that we do both. But what the leadership of Commissioners Court, as we have 4 commissioners, this is the first one we do. And that's because our county commissioner, Tito Palacios, fights very strong for this area. You have a great leader in Commissioner Palacios. This project is not only going to take care of localized flooding in this area, but also, like I said, we're going to take care of the levee system that is very important. And why is that important? We moved from $10 million to $40 million locally in the levee system because that will take care of $2 billion of evaluation that we're protecting in the McAllen Free Trade Zone. And also this area here. If the levees were to break like they did in New Orleans, we'd have a big economic situation that we were trying to avoid. And we're also trying to avoid from our taxpayers paying more money. You say, why? From having to pay flood insurance in the localized areas of Alamo and South Alamo. So this is why we're reinvesting into the community and making sure your taxpayers' money is spent to try to expand for economic development. We're hoping that with this project indirectly, it helps Alamo and Luciano and Robert Diaz de Leon attract more companies in the South Alamo area so that they can expand their tax base. And Alamo can do more than they have been already. And congratulations, because you all have done a great job with Walmart and H-E-B and some of the others that have come in the area. Godfrey, thank you. Congratulations for this project. I know I have been pretty strict and pretty coming forward and saying, I want to take the table, I want to break ground, well, finally we're here. And with Commissioner Palacios at the helm of Precinct 2 and trying to help us get everybody together, we're really proud of our County Commissioners Court. They're really, really sticking to the timetable. But one thing you need to know, with the help of Ms. Sines and Senator Cornyn's office, they've already approved $10 million for the reimbursement or the levy system. Because it's not fair that the IBWC levies, which are federal responsibility, be paid off the backs of our local taxpayers. So they're working on trying to get federal funding to make sure that they're reinvesting these levies. We're asking them, and I know Senator Cornyn's going to come forward and do this, the conferees, there have been $15 million approved in the House and $10 million approved in the Senate. With the leadership of Senator Cornyn, we can get that to $15 million, and I know we can do it strongly with the help of Ms. Sines, and we talked about it this morning. So I ask you, Mayor and Luciano and members of the public, please write letters, get on the email, and ask Senator Cornyn to please help us in reimbursing the levy system, because it's important for the economic vitality of South Texas and Hidalgo County. Again, congratulations, and we are here standing ready to help you. Commissioner Handy could not be with us this morning. She has her dad having surgery this morning. But on behalf of Commissioner Handy, Commissioner Garza, and Commissioner Flores, congratulations to the City of Alamo, and we look forward to working with you more to try to expand on the economic development of Alamo in the area. Thanks again for having us here.
Thank you, Judge. As Judge Salinas brought up to the point of Commissioner Palacios is one of our leading board members. He's spent quite a few years sitting as one of our board members of the Drainage District, and he is a very avid fighter for his precinct. He goes before the Commissioners Court every Tuesday and tries to make sure that this community or his area gets the same resources as all the other communities, and sometimes more resources.
Yeah, the next groundbreaking, by the way, is also in his precinct in a couple of weeks.
As Commissioner says, I'm just taking care of business. For that, I'd like to introduce Commissioner Hector Tito Palacios from Precinct Number 2.
Thank you, Godfrey. Good morning. As the judge and Godfrey mentioned, this is the first project under the bond issue. This is the first of many that are coming up. There's a saying that I like to use for a phrase, and I tell Godfrey and I tell the judge and the rest of the board members, I don't want to hear about the labor pains. I want to see the baby. and we're getting pretty close to seeing the baby here.
It's in labor. We're in labor.
You know, the board decided to do this project not because of Tito Palacio, but because we have been very proactive in preparing for this kind of projects. The board decided and approved the buying of right-of-way. So all the right-of-way that would be used in the project either have been bought already or it's in the process. We do have right of entry for the benefit of the contractor. The project is being handled to Denebob Engineering, Louis, and the construction or the contractor would be Closer Construction. They're not new to the area. They're local, not locals, but local. And sometimes I wonder. Anyway, they will be in charge of the construction of this project. And we're looking forward to working with you guys. In the past, anytime we have heavy rains in this area, there's always flooding, localized flooding. For example, here at the intersection of 907 and Hall Acres. There's flooding on Hall Acres close to Tower Road. We get several colonias that it takes a long time for them to drain. In the meantime, they have standing water on the streets. That will be taken care of with this particular project. This project will benefit not only the surrounding area here, but we're looking at Godfrey, you're going to be speaking about the specifics on it. We look at improving drainage from as far west as Tower Road in that area, all the way east to, well actually to Border Road and south. All the colonias that we have in here will also benefit from this. So generally it's going to improve the quality of life for many residents. It's going to improve the ability to continue to develop and promote economic development here. And I'm very happy that I can work with the board members, including the judge and the rest of the Commissioners Court. We have taken a proactive approach to address county needs, and this is being one of the most important one at this point. We have other projects, road construction. I want to mention that TxDOT will be in charge of making improvements to 907, which is Alamo Road. And Tocayo, I'd like to thank TxDOT for that. But I've got a list of other projects that we need to work on. As the judge mentioned, Commissioner Handy's not here. There's illness in the family. But on her behalf, she's equally involved in this. Mayor, she represents, or Alamo itself, city limits of Alamo, or in Precinct 1, which is Commissioner Handy. So she's sorry she couldn't be here, but on her behalf, she worked just as hard as we do. We worked together, coming up with a team. And Alamo is not somebody new to the precinct. They have the luxury of having two commissioners, Commissioner Handy and su servidor. Not taken from Commissioner Handy, but in the past, I've worked with the City of Alamo. As a matter of fact, there's an invoice that I won't be sending. But no, we all work together, and we work for a common cause, and that is to improve the quality of life for people in Hidalgo County, and also to promote economic development. So, Godfrey will be giving you some specifics on the project, specifically the area and whatever you call it, the water basin, which is a new term that I learned. The way I look at it is, ¿de dónde van a sacar el agua? Where is it going to drain into? And they've done a good job for that. And the next project is, again, would be in the prison area, but not necessarily because it's Tito Palacios, it's because, again, the pellet line, we have the necessary right-of-way in place, and this is the beginning of utilizing the bond issue resources that were approved by the residents of Hidalgo County. And I'm hoping that the residents can appreciate what is being done. We're on it. We're also working on the levee, reconstruction of the levees in some areas, improving the levees in other areas. Ana Maria has assured me that Senator Cornyn will be fighting for the 15 million. Yes,
yes, sir.
So if she says it's going to happen, then and other than that, we'll be around after the presentation and to answer any other questions you all may have. Thank you for coming. God bless you.